Hey, it's Andy with IT Supplies. It's been about 6 months since EPSON first announced the 44-inch SureColor F6470 and F6470H. We've been so excited to get our hands on these printers, and they've finally arrived in our demo center. If you've ordered an F6470 or an F6470H, then we know you can't wait for it to arrive so that you can begin using it. Today, we're going to quickly show you the unboxing and setup process and provide you with some tips for planning your space for the arrival of your new printer. First, the SureColor F6470 and F6470H each share the exact same body and footprint. The only way to distinguish them is by the model number badge on the front and the colored stickers on the front of the ink trays. The F6470 is a CMYK printer, using the same ink formulation as the outgoing F6370 die sub printer. The F6470H is the first 6-color channel 44-inch printer from EPSON. On the F6470H, the first 4 channels are set. Those will always be CMYK. The last 2 channels are up to you. You can choose fluorescent pink and fluorescent yellow, or you can choose light cyan and light magenta, or you can choose orange and violet. Each of these ink sets has their uses and strengths, and maybe we'll do a video on that next time. For the purposes of the unboxing that we're showing you today, we're installing a SureColor F6470H with orange and violet inks. But if you ordered an F6470 or an F6470H with different inks, you'll unbox it exactly the same way. You can see that the printer ships on a single pallet. Every F6470 and F6470H printer ships with an included take-up reel. The take-up reel is shipped in the same box as the printer. The first step to setting up the printer is removing the lid and crating. You'll need to remove the foam packaging and the plastic wrap that has been protecting the printer. That should take you about a minute. Next, you'll need to assemble the legs and cross brace of the printer to create the stand that the printer will sit on. This should also take you about a minute. Now you're ready to lift the printer off the pallet and place it onto the stand. You're going to want to recruit 4 people to lift this printer up off the pallet, as it weighs about 295 pounds. EPSON has conveniently included 2 aluminum lifting poles. These poles slot through the printer on each side to allow for an easier lift. If you've ever lifted a previous F6370 printer onto the stand, you know how difficult it can be to line up the pins on the stand with the base of the printer without these lifting poles. The new F6470 and F6470H are a more robust design, weighing almost 100 pounds more than the F6370. So EPSON has thrown us all a bone with the new lifting poles. Now that the printer is on the stand, your setup is nearly complete. At this point, you can have one person secure the printer and take-up reel with a handful of screws. And the other person can begin removing 1,000 pieces of blue tape that EPSON sticks all over the printer. They'll both finish at about the same time. At this point, you'll plug in the printer and set up your basic preferences and settings. The printer has 2 cords and requires 2 outlets, one for the printer and one for the take-up reel. It takes standard 110-volt power. The F6470 and F6470H use just 80 watts of power when printing and 20 watts when in sleep mode. Now the printer will prompt you to begin with ink charging and initialization of the printer. This part is really important. The EPSON F6470H comes in 3 different flavors, as we discussed earlier. You get to decide that flavor on the day of installation. When you order your F6470H printer, you will also order a set of inks. The printer does not ship with any inks. You'll order a set of CMYK inks, and then you'll also order the 2-pack of the inks for the version that you want to run. Either a fluorescent yellow and fluorescent pink, or a light cyan and light magenta, or an orange and violet. On the day that you set up the printer, you will be making a choice on the panel to tell the printer which of the inks you are charging the lines with. This is a one-time choice, and there is no turning back. Please make sure that when the printer prompts you for the ink set choice that you are 100% focused and 100% sure of your choice. One of the best new features of the F6470 and F6470H is the integrated ink cabinet that accepts snap-in bags of ink. Each of these trays slide out and a bag of ink clicks into place. No longer will your production floor look like a crime scene because you've dripped magenta ink everywhere. This is a much cleaner and easier process, but it also allows for better filtration of the inks and smoother ink delivery to the head. This pays dividends in smoother output onto the paper with less visible dots. The ink charge is going to take about 20 minutes. In that time, you can get your copy of EPSON Edge Print ready. This EPSON-only RIP software is included with the purchase of your printer. You will receive a disc in the box with your printer, but we recommend going to EPSON's website to make sure you're downloading the latest version of Edge. Once your ink is charged, you're ready to begin printing with the provided profiles in EPSON Edge. If you'll be printing from a different RIP software, make sure your RIP has a driver available for these new printers. Your IT Supplies sales rep can help you confirm that your RIP has a driver for the F6470 or F6470H and help you order an additional license to drive your new printer. Now with all that out of the way, you're ready to begin printing. You now own the highest quality sublimation printer on the market for metal and hard substrates. We hope that you enjoy your new printer. If you run into any challenges as you get started, please don't hesitate to reach out to our helpful support team so that we can steer you in the right direction. You can also leave questions and comments below or submit them to itsupplies.com/questions. Each week, myself and Jeff will sit down in the studio and try to give thoughtful answers to your questions in a conversation that we're calling the Extended Gamut. Thanks for watching this video, and we hope to hear from you soon.